When I started my company in 1999 out of the trunk of my car by myself, we lived in a very different world. My first client didn't even have an internet connection. He had an AOL. This is Mark Nation from the Nation Law Firm, the guy you see on TV all the time. He was actually my second client. When I walked in the door, they had 8 computers. They didn't have a website. They didn't have email outside the office. He had an AOL dial-up modem in his computer. Does everybody even remember those days anymore? I didn't even know what Exchange was. I didn't know what hosted email was. Almost everything we do today, I've had to learn on my own as a company has grown. We do not live in the same world. In the old days, backups, you could back up to tape. You could get back up and running. We're in a completely different world today where things are killing your network that have nothing to do with hardware failures. So that's what we've been talking about. Ransomware attacks, things like that. New type of attacks that are coming out are going to be called fileless. You will be able to get infected without clicking on a file and infecting your network. One of the big things that's happening right now is the ransomware guys, Bitcoin is what people use to pay for ransomware attacks. Everybody understands what Bitcoin is. You can actually mine Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something that can be generated. It's a very complicated computer algorithm that creates it, and a person can create a Bitcoin by running through this algorithm that has to run on a supercomputer for a certain amount of time. Well, the ransomware guys, they don't have supercomputers, but they have millions of computers around the world that they're infecting, and they're making your computer run an algorithm in the background that helps them mine Bitcoins. This is one of the latest things that's coming out. Something your computer runs running really, really slow. You've been infected with something. We have tools we put on your network that can tell if your CPU, your processor, hits a high level, and we know what's going on. So one thing Eric mentioned when he was finishing is we offer much more than continuity and backup. We offer complete network support, and you can't just have us back up today. We'll just call you when we need you, just do our backup. It doesn't work like that. That's why we don't bill by the hour. We maintain your whole network or we don't do it because it just causes too many issues and too many problems. So these things actually happen. Networks do go down, and we have a short video here of one of our clients whose network went down and Datto saved the day.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. A couple of years ago, our server had crashed, and of course, coming in on a Monday morning, finding this out was real daunting for me. We have 3 very busy offices in 3 different locations, and we needed to get up and running. I called TaylorWorks in a panic. They were able to come in, get us up and running from our data backup service, which was called the Datto backup device, and we ran on it the whole week until we could get our servers back up and running. But we had very little downtime. I'm thinking about an hour at the most. Of course, for me, Monday morning, that was nothing less than a miracle. So if it wasn't for the Datto backup service, I don't know what we would have done.
All right. Great. Thanks, Zelda. Let's give her a hand. She did a great job. Yeah, this is the exact scenario. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Zelda had an older server. I'd already given her a quote for a new one, and she said, we're going to do that. In fact, we're going to put it in next weekend. What happens Monday morning? Bang, there goes the old server. It dies. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've delivered a proposal to somebody for something new, and the minute the proposal hits their desk, the old one dies. It's like it knows it's coming. It knows its time is up. So the old server crashed Monday morning. Now, the Datto doesn't just back up. That's what we like about it so much. It doesn't just back up. It's not just a backup system. It's actually another server itself. So that server that died, we spun it up on the backup device, and it becomes the server. And so then they ran off of that all week, and then the next weekend we put the new server in. Now the Datto has new data on it because they've been using it all week, and we put that image on the new server, and then they come in the next Monday morning and they're up and running. They were down for an hour. It would have taken us minimum to get all the parts and get it back up and running again and restore all the data, a minimum of a day being down. And they have, between 3 offices, how many patients would you say you see a day between 3 offices? About 200 patients. They would have had to go home. We can't see you. We can't access your records. Okay? They're not there. So, that's what we're talking about here. We don't want you guys to be down. We can do everything we can on your network, but without a good backup system and getting you back up again, if you have a hardware failure or some type of infection or ransomware attack, that's what we have to protect you from. Like I said, we don't live in the same world we did 5 years ago. We have to take precautions today. Global ransomware damage cost exceeds $5 billion in 2017 and is expected to exceed $11 billion in 2019. In 2015, it was only $325 million. So 3,500% increase in 3 years, and it's only expected to worsen. Ransomware attacks on healthcare organizations, which are the #1 cyber attack industry, will quadruple by 2020. Who knows why cyber guys the hackers go after medical the most? Who knows that answer to that? Why they're going after medical? Jerry.
That's all personal data, anything you ever want on a person.
Right, so what's different about that personal data than, say, data at your bank?
Well,
It's your medical information. Okay, your medical information. Why is that more valuable than your financial information?
Affordable Health Care Act.
Yep, there's things like that. There are, because our Medicare system isn't that strong in security, it's getting better, I can hack in and find out Rick Castro is a 75-year-old man that hurt his leg and might need an expensive wheelchair. I will get a shell company that isn't even real. I'll order a wheelchair of $20,000 electric wheelchair and charge it to Medicare. He'll never see the wheelchair will never be in, but I'll charge his Medicare account because I know all of Rick's medical information. And I submitted that to Medicare. That's the kind of stuff they're after. That is what they do with it. So your information is being, you don't want to let that get out there. If you're the doctor that it gets out there and they trace it back to you, you're in big trouble. All right, so ransomware is expected to attack a business every 14 seconds by the end of 2019. So it's not going away, guys. It's just getting worse. The key is you've got to be able to recover from ransomware. What does all this mean? In 2015, the chairman of IBM said cybercrime is the greatest threat to every company in the world right now. He said, that's what he said. I'm not trying to scare everybody, but this is real stuff. We can't sugarcoat it. It's really real. It's really happening. And we have to put the systems in, let us maintain your networks, and let us maintain the right kind of backup system. I was in a orthodontist office the other day. He had every one of his records on a server in his office. He had actually no backup system at all. He had an IT guy that was helping him out of the trunk of his car, the same way I started many years ago, and I just call him when I need him. Well, listen, we'll maintain your network for you. We'll put the right backup system on here, but we have to maintain the network. I can't just come over here when you need me periodically. You're going to get hacked. I gave him the story of the dentist in Tavares I told you about earlier. You know what his answer was? Oh, people love their orthodontist. No one would ever sue me. That's exactly what he said. I said, thank you very much, sir. It was nice to meet you. And I'm just waiting for it to happen. That's exactly what he said. So if it happens to one of his colleagues, he's going to wake up. Okay? And unfortunately, then it's too late. The dentist in Tavares, he had to end up paying the ransom. He had no backup. He had no way of getting back. His ransom was at least $15,000 to $20,000. That was the ransom. And then, because he's medical, he had to report that to the Office of Civil Rights. I mean, the whole ball of wax. Okay, he had to do everything. And if you have more than 500 patients, you have to notify all of them, and it has to hit the news media. So you may not be medical, but that doesn't mean that you don't have issues like that. So questions? Let's open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got a question on the data side. So you're basically like a smoke detector for the ransomware. And then plus you're the emergency backup where you have everything restored and you can even use it in a short amount of time. But
That's a great way to put it, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So
Set things on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. He got the idea from the presentation, yeah.
So, yeah, I have to put in those terms. I'm a
Sure.
non-IT guy.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how are you able to stay ahead of the hackers and even be able to detect it and recognize it as ransomware if they're doing such sophisticated coding? I mean, you guys have like incognito secret agents going in the dark web and, exchanging secrets with the bad guys?
Let me say one thing on that before Eric answers. We're never going to completely get ahead of everything. We're never going to be able to do that. What you have to do is make sure you can recover if that happens to you.
Well, right.
That's the
what I
point.
meant. You have the two things.
Yes.
But anyway, so
Yeah,
you can't get ahead of it.
So ours isn't the security layer. We're not blocking it,
Right.
so we don't need to actually do that. What we're doing is on the back side of it, if there's batch file name changes, which is what all of that bad code does, it encrypts all the files. That's what we look for.
So you don't have to identify the exact.
The point is your backup isn't any good if you're backing up the bad data.
We're just saying, oh, something bad just happened. That's when ours kicks in.
Right, right.
You also got to keep in mind too, for backups, you don't always necessarily need to know. So you don't always need to necessarily know what's in the bad. You just need to know what the good is. Right.
Do you have the names I can pull out? The names and then get ready.
Right, so like,
Right, get
you're
the
right,
phone.
nobody can ever identify. Like, if a nation state wants to get your stuff, they're gonna get your stuff. Sorry, this is how it is. If there's a team of 50 people who spend night and day trying to get your stuff or create something new, nobody's gonna get it the same day. But when you're talking about restoring a backup, you can know these Word documents and these CSV files are what I need, and you can pull the good out, and if you're really worried, you just leave anything that you don't know what it is there. You don't pull everything under the sun, you just pull what you need. Does that make sense?
No, that helps. It's like if you were going to know to spot a counterfeit bill, you wouldn't
Right.
look at every single counterfeit bill. You really know what to do.
Right. Yeah. One way they train bank tellers to find counterfeits, they don't let them touch counterfeit bills. They only let them touch real bills. And so the minute they hit one, they're going to know what it feels like or know what it doesn't feel like. So that's great. Other questions? Yes, sir.
To pile on the dentist, we had a dentist in Longwood down the road here. Same deal, got hit with ransomware, said, you know, how come you can't fix it? He's Drive Savers. Well, I go to Drive Savers. No, your data's there.
Yeah.
It's not missing, it's just encrypted. Finally, the guy ended up paying an $8,000 ransom.
Yep.
They decrypted it, and instead of backing it up, he goes, oh, everybody get to work. 4 hours later, you know what happened.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so-
Absolutely. We're never going to, the most common way that ransom comes in is through, as Eric was talking about, email encryption, okay? An email attachment. I do this for a living, okay? The other day, I was waiting on a contract from a potential customer. I get an email from this guy, the potential customer, says, see PDF attached. That's exactly what I would have expected to get back from him. I'm actually talking with someone in my office, and I go, oh, okay, it came in. I clicked on the email, and it didn't actually have an attachment. It came up and said, to download the PDF, click here. And I'm talking with someone, and I'm expecting that from this guy. This is how they get you. I'm expecting it, so I click on it. And then it says, we need to verify your email. Put in your email address and your email password. And guess what I did? And I'm talking with somebody, and I'm like, why isn't this working? And then I key it in, and suddenly my phone starts vibrating, and I have one of these things that says, your information just went on the dark web. Zzz, zzz. I just gave my information. What did I do next? I immediately changed my password. Okay? Because my password to log into the network is the same one I use on my email. So suddenly they had my login, administrative level login to our network, and they had it that quickly. All right? Now they didn't use it that quickly, and I changed it really quickly. But even somebody that knows what they're doing, this can happen to you. Okay? So I felt really stupid, and I just admitted it to every one of you. And I protect your network, so how stupid was that? But I'm being honest with you, it can easily happen. It's not that hard. Yes, sir.
What if you multiply your number of passwords so that I have a tendency, like maybe a few others do, I want to use the same one all the time because I'm just really bored.
Yep.
And I don't want to have to remember things. What if now Google offers a password lock.
There are a lot of programs out there that you can store passwords and do that. Don't use the same password ever. Absolutely do not do that. The most important thing is actually change your passwords regularly. Your network administrators can set it up where it forces you to change your network password regularly. Don't use the same one at your bank, on your network, because all the hackers got to do is get one of them. And then he's going to go after everything you have. Okay? The other
With the Google lock,
Yeah.
it says that they'll remember it for you. Is that a safe thing to use?
Well, anything that's online, in theory, can be hacked, okay? Is that more safe than you writing on a piece of paper and sticking it under your mouse pad? I just told you where my passwords are, okay. Is that any safer? It's not, it's safer, it's a lot more accessible, okay? It's actually safer for you to have a lot of different passwords than it is to worry about that. Google will get sued 9 ways to Sunday if that got hacked and everybody got the information. I personally think it's safer to write it down somewhere and put it in a place where you can get to it. That's what I do, but it's really up to you. But if you put all your keys to the kingdom in one place and that gets hacked, yeah, they've got it. So there's a combination of things. All right, we'll take just a couple more questions, then we have some giveaways, and we got to let you guys out of here. One more question. We got one more question.
I had a question I was going to ask, but
Okay.
I'll talk loud for Rick.
Talk loud for Rick. Yeah, we have a microphone up here. Yeah.
You look remarkably good, Rick. What happens if something's been sleeping on your system for
Yep.
like a month,
Okay.
or 2 months? How do you have?
All right. How do you
deal with
recover
that?
from that? Yeah. Well, Datto has the ability for us to have basically unlimited versions in the cloud. Okay, so we can retrieve way back when something gets infected.
How far back?
Well, the unlimited,
If we can keep it for an infinite length of time.
it's infinite. Yeah, we can either do 1 year or infinite, and it's not that much more money. Again, the doctor in Tavares I was talking about, his IT guy was trying to sell him a backup system like Datto. It was going to cost him $250 a month. He did not want to spend the money on it. And look what happened, okay? So he got, many, many, many times over, all right? So if any of you that have our networks, if there's a Datto on that network, 9 times out of 10. I do have one big client in town that it took me 2 years to talk him into getting one. They didn't want to spend the money on it. I just couldn't believe it. I finally said, I can't sleep at night with knowing you don't have this. And I have a customer who just upgraded to a bigger one. I'm going to give you the one that will work for your network. You just have to pay the monthly fee, okay? Okay, all right, we'll do it. All right, and that's what it took. So anyway, it's not a luxury. You have to have it. You have to have it.
What if you have a fire and the server burns up and the data box burns up?
That's.
We have it offsite.
Well, everything's off-site, yes. Here's the thing, everything backs up to the Datto, and it does it on a constant basis. It doesn't just back up at night. So if you get hacked or your server crashes at 4 in the afternoon, I don't have to walk up and say, well, the best I can do for you is put you back the way you were when you came in this morning. I can put you back the way you were 15 minutes ago.
But if you lose
Okay.
the data box.
But the Datto box itself, it's also a mirror image of it up in the cloud. So everything is in the cloud.
Actually, we have 3 of those data boxes.
Yes,
So
exactly.
You can lose one.
Yeah, the hardware is in site so we can restore quickly or virtualize, but then everything is also in the cloud. So any other questions about Datto or anything cybersecurity related?
On to some fun.
All right, on to some fun stuff. Okay, enough of me talking.
So,
All right, did everybody have fun today? Was it fun? All right.
tell them what they're going to win.
All right. Our first prize is going to be an Echo Dot. Who is our first winner? And they won't be Eric from Convergent because he's on the top. Sorry, Eric. Hey, one time I got asked to speak. This is an honest-to-God true story. I got asked to speak at an event one time, and I thought there was going to be about 25 people there. There were 150 people there, and they were all IT people, and I had no idea that's who I was going to be speaking to. And I had a very kind of low-end talk, so I had to really gen it up really, really fast. They gave everybody a ticket when they walked in, and at the end of the thing, they were going to give away it was at a hotel, they were going to give a free weekend at the hotel. And they said, oh, Tim, since you were our speaker, would you pull out the ticket? I reached in there, I strode my hand around, guess whose ticket I pulled out? Mine. No one believed me, but guess what? We had a great weekend. All right, our first winner is Alicia Spears from Alicia Spears Realty. All right. Fantastic. All right, what else do we have for our fine folks today?
Guess what we have?
Another Echo Dot. All right. All right. And that's going to go to Jim Graber. All right. Hey, our question guy. Fantastic.
And now for its big
The
brother.
bigger prize. All right.
Or sister, big sister, brother.
I'm sorry your card's on the top, Eric. I just can't pull you. All right, here we go. There we go. And this goes to Dan Myers from Kenerbo CPA.
His better half
Yes,
is here.
his better half is here. Kathy's here. All right, I met Van earlier. All right, we're giving away one more thing. We're giving away a free cybersecurity assessment of your network. That's a $1,000 value, okay? All you have to do, there should be a sign-up sheet on your table. If you're not one of our clients, if you're one of our clients, you don't need this, obviously. We're taking care of your network now, but if you're not one of our clients, we will come in and do a complete analysis of your network and tell you where your what your risk score is and what we can do to fix it. Okay? So that's just, it's on your table. Just sign up and we will get that to you. Rick, is there anything else? What am I forgetting? I'd like to introduce our staff from TaylorWorks. I'd like to especially thank Rick. Rick and Sherian put this together. Where's Sherian? Go back there. All right. My new assistant is Stephanie. She's right there. Stephanie. And I call him the ghost of TaylorWorks, the guy that everybody knows, they've heard his name, they don't know who he is. He's actually our general manager, and all my technical people report to him. So if you have a ticket that's not being addressed in a quick amount of time, do not call me. You call him, and his name is Alan Sableski, and he's right there. Alan actually was a client of ours. He was a client for a number of years. I used to do a radio show in town. It was a call-in computer show. It was live, so I had to know the answers. And Alan heard our commercials during the week. He called in one time and said, I'd like you to come take a look at our network. This is a true story. I went out and saw his network. He met me at the door of the building, and he walked me into his office, Well, he walked me right into the server room, and I walked in, and there was a rack of 7 servers, big rack of 7 servers. And I go, what are you doing on this? And he kind of explained what each server was doing. And it was kind of interesting, and I said, well, how many employees do you have? He goes, we have 15 employees. I go, you have 15 employees and you have 7 servers? One server can handle like 100 employees. And I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, this does this, and this one does it. And every server did exactly one task. And I was like, who sold you all this? And he says, oh, my other IT guy said every time I need a new program, I have to get another server. And they had a whole server that they put a little security camera system in themselves into their office, and the software would run on a PC. He put a whole server in just to run that program. And he said, we have a parent company up in the UK, and now all these servers are old, and they said I can replace them all. I'm getting quotes to replace all the servers. And I was like the 3rd IT guy that came in. I said, I could run everything you have here on one server with one good backup. Guess what everybody else quoted him? 7 new servers. What did I quote him? The right thing? Guess who he went with? He went from 15 people to 50 over the next like 4 years, and we helped him grow significantly. The company reorganized, Alan left, and he walked in my door and said, I think I need to work here. He's been with us for 3.5 years, so great story, and we really appreciate Alan being there. So, all right, did you guys have fun? Yeah. All right, I really enjoyed everybody coming today. Thank you so much. I don't want to take too much of your day, but thanks again for coming, and we'll talk to you real soon. All right, thanks again.